What are your initial reactions, everyone?
It's quite scary, and the music in the background makes it quite haunting, puts you on edge, makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, I would say.
Yeah, good use of effects. Nice time lapse of the shirts changing in the bed.
Yeah, that was good actually. Lily's role made it feel like she was taking medication every day because her tops kept changing, so I thought that was pretty good. The sounds in the background made it pretty spooky. The time of day that it was filmed and the fact it was quite sort of misty and dark made it even more, I would say. Made it feel quite scary.
Yeah, amplified the tension.
Yeah, I would say so.
I'd say as it got through the video as well, you could see more and more of the creepiness, and it got scarier as it went on. You got more in-depth view of the Lily character.
The blood on the knife made it quite sinister, I think, as well.
Do you think that's a crucial thing to have
Yeah.
in... Okay.
Yeah, because it implies that a lot of horrible things have happened, particularly with the clown's really sort of slightly sort of sarcastic face.
Okay. What effect did introducing the clown antagonist before the female protagonist have on you as audience members? Was it a good decision to complete it in this order? So, when the clown appeared before the woman, do you think that was good? Or...
Yeah. I think it was... Because you saw the clown, the scary character first, and then once you'd seen the scary character, you then saw the actual main character there, and you kind of link them in together afterwards, so
Yeah.
that was a good order to do it.
The way I kind of interpreted it was that it was the opening sequence was kind of like a nightmare that Lily was waking up from. So you kind of she's immersed in this nightmare, and the editing, where it's flashing between things and flickering here and there, kind of gives it the idea of like a dream state, and then she suddenly wakes up. So it gives you a sense of what's going on in her head, and why, I guess maybe why she needs to take the medication.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when it goes from the clown to her in the bathroom and then she wakes up in bed, do you think that order is a bit confusing, or does it just add to the chaos in the film?
Yeah, it's the more the chaos jumping around I thought was really good, because it helps emphasise that the character is under sort of emotional or mental pressure from what she's gone through and what's going on. So I think it worked very well.
The editing style reflects the way the character's feeling, which in turn helps the audience emote and emphasize what am I on about? Helps feel connected with the character.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
I agree.
So it's more of like a collection of. This isn't just one day. This happens every day. So it's not just this is the nightmare. Then she wakes up. Then she brushes her face. And this is happening every day. This happens some days. This happens other days. So it's all like a mix of what's going on in her head over weeks or months or whatever it is.
I thought the way it was blended together was really good. I think it really does make the whole thing quite like she's in a confused state right from the beginning. I think it portrays that really well. And it was good to have the clown character at the beginning, because it helps to explain the mental pressure and stuff that she's under. I thought that was really good.
Thank you.
Well
Okay.
edited.
So if you could summarise the narrative in a few words each, what words would typically come to mind? Grumps, do you want to start this one off? Good. Do you have any, when you watch it, do you have anything that kind of, if you were to say, I'm going to describe what happened in one word? Or anyone. I don't really know.
So I would use the word sinister.
Yeah, sinister. Sort of psycho, isn't it?
Sinister. Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a psycho thing. Your mind, your
it
whole
puts
mind.
you on edge, and
it does put you on edge.
you feel uncomfortable for the individual that's suffering, because the way the video comes across, it's quite hard hitting, I think.
Yeah, it's off-putting in a good way.
Yeah.
It
immediately makes you feel sorry for the individual that's clearly suffering. And when you see that awful clown, whoever he is, it makes it more real as to why the individual's suffering and why they are taking medication.
So the last scene where she's gagged,
Yeah.
is that is she actually being gagged, or is that kind of a metaphor for how she feels in her mind?
Well, I mean, that sounds better, but it was foreshadowing, because obviously there's another character in it, Tori Jackson, who is the bad character.
Yeah.
The camera can't see, but I'm doing these things. But that's the bad character, so that's the one who basically makes her see all of these things, and that was foreshadowing when she tries to find him in her house. That's kind of what he does to her.
Okay.
But it kind of, I did it all, so it was a bit chaotic, and you were like, oh,
Yeah.
what's going
It
on?
can work both ways, actually.
Yeah,
That's what's a good thing about it. So it's good. It
thanks.
was good.
Yeah, it helps keep intrigue.
I think the fact you filmed the clown when it was getting dark and it was quite damp looking and stuff was better than filming it on a middle of a summer's day. It wouldn't
Yeah.
have the same impact at all. And then the sound effects that they're edited with it makes it even harder hitting.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
the combination of like the grungy look and the sound effects all help to create this one big, really off-putting but good.
That was
Feeling.
really scary when the green, the clown green, that sort of
Mm.
evil.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And the bit where he wipes the blood on his face
Yeah.
makes him look really kind of evil and sinister.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like he's really enjoying torturing or
Yeah.
putting somebody through a really tough time. That therefore would imply that he does it regularly rather than just.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on the opening sequence that you have just watched, what would you assume were the leading character Lily's fears?
Clowns,
Yeah, it's a good way to start.
knives.
Things or people she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because he's covered in like the paint of like a mask, so she doesn't actually know who he is.
Oh, it sounds her mind, really.
Mind. Oh.
Thought she was
Thought
going
she
mad.
was
I don't
going
think
mad.
I'm supposed to say anything.
Oh no, it's fine.
Oh.
It's all helpful
I
anyway.
think she must have thought she was going mental, mustn't she? Must have
Yeah.
been going, you know, her mind must have gone, mustn't it?
Yeah, having a bit of like a breakdown. That's what typically
yeah.
associated with
Yeah.
trying to wash your face, trying to wake yourself up,
Yeah.
and forget things.
Okay.
And also, I thought because it was filmed with her inside and in bed, getting inside the house, that she might have a fear of open spaces and going outside, because all of the filming and the footage was her inside and the clown was outside. So maybe
Yeah.
she's got a fear of the outside and a fear of like getting dark and things like that.
So I don't know if you noticed, but in the first scene where the clown was, there was the sound of water droplets that kept being repeated. Would you say that would be symbolic perhaps of something other than just a sound effect, or?
Like torturous, I would say. That sort of noise sounds like it's torturous to me.
Okay.
So to me, it implies kind of like a time. So you have like drops every now and again.
Yeah.
A movement of time. Maybe linked in with the later in the shot. You see how changing jumpers. So obviously you have over a number of days. Maybe it signifies a movement that is just a constant thing. It's
Yeah.
always happening with her mind.
Okay. This question is quite long, so just bear with me. By quite long, it's quite...
Oh.
Right. I completed research initially into drug consumption and how it correlates with numerous suicides worldwide. The findings sparked my idea for my narrative that you've just watched. As the research I conducted was regarding my primary and secondary target audience demographics, which is you guys, I wanted to explore these elements as underlying points in the narrative I created. In this section you watched, although done in a subtle manner, do you think it has been suggested regarding the research I've completed? So basically, could you say that this would make people more aware of drug consumption? Obviously there's not been much mentioned in that, but if it was to progress, do you reckon people would be more aware about kind of drug abuse and stuff like that, and possibly not be more swayed to doing it? Or like, would that make an impact on you?
Yeah, because there's not much reference at the beginning to drugs per
Yeah.
se. But if drugs then were introduced as it developed, then because of the sinister nature of it and the editing and the sort of scary sounds and so on and so forth, then I would say it would be quite hard hitting.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if it materialised that the problems in the industry were because of past drug problems or something about
Yeah.
nature, then the film kind of gives you an idea of how she's feeling, and if that's due to drugs, then I mean, I'm sure it's going to have an impact and make people think twice before
Yeah,
they...
but she was taking the drug to make her feel better.
Well, the story is that her husband Paul died 3 years ago, so she's been taking this medication for it, but she basically takes way too much of it, so it does make her go a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's good.
Okay. And the final question: any improvements to be made? Please be harsh. I won't hate you forever.
I thought the graphics were brilliant. I thought that there's quite a lot to take in when the graphics come up, so you possibly could leave them on for a
Define
half a
graphics.
second. Sorry, the
Titles.
titles and the actors' names
Mhm.
possibly could stay on for a fraction of a second
Yep.
longer.
Yeah.
It's not a major thing, to be honest, and even if it didn't, it wouldn't make any real difference to me, but possibly for some people it might, if you could leave them on a bit longer.
We're not looking for royalty.
No. Everybody apart from one name can stay off longer. What else? It's very hard to put criticism of that, because I thought, I watched it several times and I think it's really good.
Thanks.
Nothing wrong with it.
Aw,
Very good.
Thank you.
I couldn't find any fault in it.
It's
You're not supposed to be in this.
It's all right.
It's really, really good. It's really good. I can't find it.
it's really impactful for
Yeah,
me. It makes a
it is.
real impact, so therefore I find it quite addictive and I'd be happy to watch it several times. So therefore I can't, having watched it several times, the only point I would make is that possibly the titles could stay on for a fraction longer, but that really is being overcritical, from my point of view anyway.
And there's one thing that, and this could be a good thing or a bad thing, whichever way you look at it, but as we've been talking, we've kind of had different interpretations of
Yeah.
the storyline and what's happening. So if the idea is to create this kind of chaos and not really understanding, then maybe it's good. But obviously it can be interpreted different ways.
Yeah.
So if you are trying to tell this specific story, then maybe it needs to be more pointed toward that story. But if not, then the chaos that it generates is a really cool way of introducing you to a story without giving away the whole plot line.
Anyone else got any improvements? Don't be worried that everyone said there's no improvements to be made. See, Ben does media. Anything media that I've got completely wrong?
No, all was good. Like everything was in focus and good. You had pretty shots, and I think the way that they cut between one another really helped it flow. Oh, sorry. So, yeah, in that regard, everything was, like I said, I agree here. There's nothing,
Okay.
it's not crucially flawed in any way. It's great.
I really like the way it blends and just in that short spell it creates quite a addictive story, and the way the shots blend in and out and the way you speed up the changing of Lily's tops as well, and it's sped up and all the noises in the background cause confusion of everybody's voices. I just thought it was really good.
It's full on right from the start, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's well thought out.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Anyone else got anything else to add?
Can you do the whole film?
I want to, but yeah.
I'd really like to watch it.
Maybe it was really good with the flashing of the clown and like the way it changed, but that maybe wouldn't work for a whole film.
Yeah.
Maybe too much to do the whole film.
Yeah.
Because that's not necessarily criticism, but just, if you are going to do the whole film,
Yeah.
maybe not do that throughout the whole thing. But it was good for that length of time. It was really good how it was.
Some people said it got a bit repetitive at the end when Lily was sitting staring at the camera and the same clown footage was over the top. Would you agree with that? Or...
I thought that was quite a good way of bringing the two scenes together.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really linking them before that. But that kind of implied that they were kind of happening together or as part of the same story.
yeah, it put emphasis on it, the fact of what was actually happening rather than if you had just shown it once.
Yeah.
It may not put the point across quite as well as
Okay.
repeating it a bit.
I think if you put less in, people would have been a bit confused as to what you were trying to convey. I think it's the right quantity personally.
Last question. Do you think the laugh was realistic?
The first laugh was the first time I saw it was quite funny.
Yeah.
But obviously I heard it before it was part of the thing, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can have that in my mind. So I don't really know if it's sinister enough for people to see it the first time with the clown face.
Yeah.
Because I know it has been brought up a lot
Yeah, but
to say. I'm
it's
not
quite
sure if
common
it's.
to laugh.
Yeah.
For me, because I was seeing the clown as I was laughing, in my mind I put them together, so
Yeah.
it felt quite sinister and in a way, but I haven't heard them separately, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, as I was watching it, because I was seeing a clown, it kind of felt that to me.
No, I agree there. Like, if you had the sound on its own, maybe it can be, like, heard comedically, but when you pair it with the imagery of the clown, it works. At least from my opinion.
I think it's good because I think if it was a really scary or sinister laugh on its own, you'd lose the impact of it being a clown, but because it actually was a clown's laugh, but quite a sinister clown's
Yeah.
laugh, I think it actually played the part really well. So if you're not careful, if you have like some scary laugh, but then
Yeah.
a face that's dressed as a clown, that would be a bit...
I kind of wanted it to
contradictory.
be scarier by putting something that was funny with
Yeah.
something that's not, so it makes that kind
And
of
that for me worked
juxtaposition.
really well, because it was at the end of the day a clown's face, but it wasn't a jolly clown's laugh, it was
Yeah.
quite a scary clown.
But clowns aren't funny anyway.
Terrifying me.
There's
I don't know
some-
why I did that as a clown, because it's bloody
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, they scare lots of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About
There's
them.
loads and loads of people.
Yeah.
I'm really frightened of clowns.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
you have two extremes, don't you? You have some that are fun and some that aren't. I'm a nice guy, really.
Cool. Anything else to add, or are we?
No, just that I thought it was excellent.
Thanks.
Really enjoyed it.
Very good.
Nice.